Well done for getting this far into the video. This is my first ever video. I made a promise to myself that I will create a short video after passing level 2. After watching through the video myself, I have to admit the editing is hilariously bad. Anyway, my CFA experience. Recently passed level 2 within the top 10 percentile. CFA level 2 is harder than level 1, but not a lot harder. If you were comfortable with the level 1 material, you should be able to transition into level 2 pretty smoothly. The exam was easier than I expected and easier than the mocks, not because the exam questions were technically simpler, but because they were better written, so no confusing questions like the ones you get in the question bank. Also because the questions were well written, timing was not an issue, so you didn't spend so long rereading the exhibits or rereading the questions because they were confusing. My preparation was simple, mainly used Mark Meldrum because I aced level 1 only using Mark Meldrum. I do enjoy watching his videos and he does have such a soothing voice. I did around 8 mocks, mixture of CFA, Fitch and Schweizer, averaged around 75% in them. I saved a ton of time from making my own notes by simply printing out the Mark Meldrum presentation slides. I bookmarked tricky areas, so I revisited them just to improve my understanding. So one thing about level 2 is that you really need to get a good understanding because there's just far too much material to remember. And the other thing is, to get a better understanding, my advice would be to look at the same thing from different perspectives. So you could watch YouTube videos, search in Google, read a book, etc. I feel like getting different perspectives really paint a clearer picture. I started doing mocks roughly 1.5 months before the actual exam. This allowed me to have enough time to work on my problem areas. So my actual results show that I smashed the fixed income and derivative section, which were the areas I did relatively poor in my mocks. So that just shows the hard work has come to fruition. However, I did relatively badly in the ethics and FRA section, which is slightly surprising because I hold an ACA, which is an accounting qualification, so you would expect me to do okay in the FRA section, which doesn't seem to be the case. Let's wrap up this video by going over who I think doing the CFA would be most beneficial for. We all know doing the CFA requires a lot of time and commitment, so there's no point in wasting your time doing something that's not very useful. So let's start off with who I don't think doing the CFA would be very useful for. So if you graduated from a top university, so that's your Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Stanford, doing a finance or economics degree, I don't think doing the CFA is extremely beneficial for you. Because for most people who graduate from a top university, they're able to get into a high-flying job early on in their career, and they're able to get bags of experience. And we all know experience is more important than any qualification that you can get. So if you went to a top or average university doing finance and economics, I think doing the CFA would be very beneficial because it helps you to stand out from the crowd. So what's the difference between a top university and a top university? A top university would be your Oxford, your Cambridge. Your top universities would be your Imperial, UCL, LSE.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And lastly, if you went to a top university or top university not studying finance or economics related degree, for example life sciences or engineering, I think doing the CFA will be very useful for you because what the CFA contains is a very broad fundamental knowledge of finance, and that will be very useful for your career. Plus it also shows that you're passionate about the finance industry because you didn't study finance or economics during your degree. In conclusion, it is definitely important for you to weigh out the pros and the cons before hopping on the CFA train, because this journey can be a journey that lasts for several years with plenty of commitment and sacrifices. So it is important to know what you really want in life.